Hello everyone, today we're going to be making a sourdough bread but with some wheat flour in it. It's actually pretty good, and you should try it for yourself. So this time we're going to start off with about 800 grams of regular flour or bread flour, whichever one you want to use, and instead of that other 200 grams being regular flour, we're going to add 200 grams wheat flour, and then to that we're going to add our water. Now for this dough I'm going to use 75% hydration instead of my usual 70% because wheat flour absorbs a lot more water than regular flour. Once we have that water and flour mixed together, we're just going to mix it all in the mixer and leave it off to the side to autolyse. Now my starter is ready. It's bubbled all the way to the top. I'm going to measure out 200 grams of my starter. Once we've got our starter, just add that straight into the autolyzed flour water mixture and also add in 20 grams of salt. Then we just mix that all in the mixer, put a cover on it, and wait for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we're ready to do our first set of stretch and folds. To stretch and fold, you're pulling it up and pushing it back into itself. In case you didn't see the first video, I'll slow it down right here so you can see it, my technique. We're just going to pull it up, wiggle it out a little, and then press it back onto itself. Once that's done, we're just going to put the cover on it and wait another 30 minutes. Now 30 minutes later, we're ready for another set of stretch and folds using the same technique. You'll start to notice it's getting smoother already. That's exactly what we want to happen. It's also worth noting that for these stretch and folds, you don't do it a set number of times, you just do it really until it feels right. Third set of stretch and folds, this is the last one I'm going to show because you're probably getting the idea at this point, but you really, for however many stretch and folds you're going to do until it's smooth, you just do 30 minutes off and then you do stretch and fold as many times as you're going to do it, and then you do another 30 minutes off. And once you're done with all your stretch and folds, you're just going to stick it in the fridge and let it bulk rise overnight, or you can have it outside and let it bulk rise for 6 hours. Now we're getting ready for the pre-shape. I'm just going to start by sprinkling a little all-purpose flour onto my workstation. Now I'm just going to pour out the dough onto my workstation using this plastic scraper here. Once you've got the dough all out, you're going to want to roughly divide it into 2 pieces. If the pieces look a little uneven, you can always take one from one piece and put a little on the other. My pieces looked a little uneven, so I had to do this. And once you've got your pieces all settled out, you're going to want to pre-shape. So use the bench scraper in this method that I'm showing. It really builds a lot of surface tension and it's really nice to get a nice crackly crust. Once you've shaped both, you're going to cover them with a floured towel and let them bench rest for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we're ready for the final shaping. Now here's a new technique for the shaping that I want to show you. It's you're going to take each corner of the bread and kind of press it in onto itself. This is going to help create a lot of air bubbles inside the bread, so your bread is going to be really airy once you've baked it. Once you've finished with that shaping method, you can just continue to finish it off like I've showed you before. Once you're done shaping, take a floured banneton. I like to use rice flour because I find it works really well. You can use any flour you like, just flip it on in there and do that with both doughs. Once both doughs are done, you can leave them to proof overnight in the fridge, or you can leave them outside and they'll take probably anywhere from 3 to 6 hours depending on the weather. About an hour before your dough is done proofing, you're going to want to start preheating your oven with your pans in it to 550 degrees. My oven is preheated, so I'm ready to flip out my loaves. I flip over one, and we're just going to want to slide it right out and use the lame or knife or whatever you have to just score it very lightly. I find with scoring, you really want to score it very lightly, and if you like the ear on the bread, just kind of go at it with a little bit of an angle. But keep the scores pretty shallow. If you do them too deep, you won't get an ear at all. Once you've scored the dough, you're ready to pop it into your preheated oven at 550 degrees, and now you're going to want to drop your temperature to 450 degrees. Even for this part, drop your temperature to 450 degrees right when you put your loaves in. They've been baking for 20 minutes, and we're going to take them out and take a look at them, take off the top covers. And they should have had all the spring that they're going to get now, and now we're going to start working on the crust a little. So just take off the tops, slide them back in without the tops, and we're not going to change the temperature. Keep it at 450 and leave them in there for a good 20 minutes. Once you're done with your 20 minutes, just take the loaves out and pop them onto a cooling rack like so. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. See ya.